All right, y'all. Let's go ahead and move on. I want to get into this Crystal Evans story real quick. Y'all know this is the woman that was out of Griffin, Georgia, who was married to her husband over 20 years. I believe they were married close to 30 years. They had like 3 kids together. And she caught him out there cheating, messing around with different women and stuff. It's been alleged that he was messing with men too, girl. Now, I don't know, but the pictures is giving suspect. Now, I'm talking about suspect in that way, even though he's a suspect in this case, okay? Now, he once she divorced him, I believe it was like maybe
What
like
makes our community special is the
let me get that out. I believe she divorced him in 2022. I believe, no, yeah, I think it could have been the end of 2022 because she put a status up on her page in February of 2023 talking about how she was done with him. She had left him or whatnot. If anything happens to me, then it's likely going to be him. He has made multiple threats about unaliving her, and people have also heard him say this. Um, so yeah, it's been a lot going on, and she had to go to a court last week over a eviction case because she's worked in real estate. So she went to the courts for that hearing. And prior to, she had been in conversation with the sheriffs. She's had a PTO put out on him. You know, he's supposed to stay far away from her and stuff. Yeah, yeah, I may be saying it wrong, but it's a restraining order basically. She had a restraining order on him. He was supposed to stay away from her and stuff. He had definitely been stalking her. She's caught him stalking her multiple times. It was said that she reached out to a sheriff, and wanted to have an escort, and they did not escort her. Once she left the courthouse, she got in her car. Once everything was done, her husband decided to just pop, 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 pop while she was in her car. It resulted in her, passing away, and he ended up fleeing from the cops, popped himself, but he's alive and he's in recovery. Okay, now he has violated his restraining order, and he actually was supposed to, when he got in front of the judge was supposed to like snatch him up, I believe. I think it's in this article, on a certain day, and instead the judge gave him time to turn himself in that next week, like that Monday of the next week, and it resulted in this woman dying. And I feel like this is her daughter on the screen, but I feel like if they would have went ahead and locked him up when he violated it, like, why do y'all take this as a joke? Then she would still be here today. Now, granted, I still believe that this man was going to try by any means to fulfill his mission, which was to unalive her. Okay, I do believe that he was going to do that. But she would be here today if they would not have done that. There's a part in the article. Okay, let's see. I wanted to get into this part here. All right. They said they now have new details on what led to Crystal's demise. Spalding County Sheriff Daryl Dix shared details in a lengthy Facebook post. He explained that Crystal walked out of the courthouse to her car. Mallory shot her several times from his car window and sped off by the time deputies heard the gunshots. Mallory did not stop for the police. Eventually, he shot himself. He's alive and recovering in the hospital, but Crystal did not make it. Precious believes this could have been prevented. Okay, she says, my mom literally called the sheriff's department the day before because he was stalking her, and they did nothing. Had they had someone to walk out with her like her friend asked, she would still be here. Now get this. Sheriff's department is not trying to take any responsibility at all. They said Dix, okay, who happens to be the sheriff, the county, Spalding County Sheriff, okay, he denied this. Okay, he said surveillance video shows Crystal never asked for an escort. How do you know that? How do you know that? Because here's the thing. Even if Crystal never asked, it sounds like she said her friend, like her friend asked. Maybe the friend went and said, hey, can you walk my friend to the car, and was denied. But okay. Anywho, his office also confirmed that authorities have responded to multiple DV calls at the Mallory household. Sometimes the violence was mutual, but there were no witnesses to identify the aggressor. Dix also confirms Mallory had been arrested for DV previously, but bonded out. Precious found Dix's social media post to be distasteful. What are you? What? Not sheriff. I see y'all. See, listen, Griffin. Girl, that's a giving backwoods a piece. Okay, that's giving backside of Jones or Burrow. That's giving down south with the woods and trees. Okay, and it's a minute, before you get to like a gas station, just a little piece. Okay, that's what Griffin is giving. All right. So for him to say, I find her to be distasteful, I find your response denying that somebody did not ask for this woman to be escorted out to be distasteful as fuck. Okay. I find y'all to be distasteful as hell to not take DV cases serious. I find your whack ass judge to be distasteful. Because when somebody is telling you they are being harassed and you have records of them having DV situations at their home, that motherfucker should have been locked up that minute, not on the next week. Okay, so you want to talk about a distasteful ass post? Let's talk about y'all distasteful ass system down there. How about that? So Precious says she felt the judge and law enforcement dropped the ball. That post was to clean his face, clear his name. She says Dix is quoted saying that this in the post. Do improvements need to be made to the law? He says yes, they do. Well, then if you feel like they do, then why the fuck would you bring your whack ass to the people and sit up there and say that her message was distasteful when you know that you motherfuckers should do better? Girl, I could cuss him the hell out. I really could. He says maybe it wasn't a deputy or my agency that ooh, bitch. Girl, get the hell up out. Because let me tell you something. Even when you try to sue them for dropping a ball, if you can, listen, it's not going to go nowhere. If you can, once you have healed and you're past your mother's, girl, you need to get the hell up out of there. Because this ain't a safe place. I don't trust them. And then he says maybe it wasn't my deputy or my agency that failed. Maybe it was the law itself. It was all y'all. Okay? Precious plans to fight for justice for her mom and says she has no sympathy for her dad. Okay? He was an evil man. He pre-planned it. He knew what he wanted to do. Precious says she plans to rally for justice at the courthouse on Wednesday, and she's planning a vigil for her mother on Thursday. Let's get into this TSR reports to see what they have to say about this.
When you cry for help,
he was a very controlling, manipulating man.
But no one hears you.
We just knew how dangerous he was.
Crystal Evans just divorced her husband last week. In court, a friend asked if Crystal could get escorted to her car.
They did not send anyone out. She walked out by herself and he shot her.
Multiple times, killing her. A lot of people placing the blame on the courthouse staff and police.
They did nothing.
But this Georgia sheriff is making waves on social media. What he said about the victim and her family that has the small town outraged.
I'm Justin Carter. This is TSR Investigates. They've known each other for decades. Tom Mallory and Crystal Evans, they met when they were kids in the small town of Griffin, Georgia, which is about an hour south of Atlanta. They were married for over 20 years, even started a contracting company together, but life was not always easy, especially for Crystal, who just recently went on social media pleading with the public and her followers to pay attention to what her estranged husband was doing to her, all while she was waiting for the courts to grant her a protective order. She was granted that protective order on September 11th, but 2 days later, she was dead.
The signs were there. Look what Crystal Evans wrote on her Facebook page, August 3rd, 2024. Quote, "It's sad that I have to walk around terrified for my life and my children's. I know if something happens to me, please know who did it. This man has said numerous times that he's going to kill me. I am posting and trying to leave a paper trail." End quote. Then on August 17th, a Ring camera image. Quote, "Tom Mallory, stay away from us. You are a sick man. Leave us alone." End quote. And then just last Thursday, the day before she took him to court, quote, "Dude, please leave me alone. It's over. Move on with your life."
I mean, she literally called the day before because he was stalking her.
Precious Evans says her mom was just granted a permanent order of protection against her father, Tom Mallory, on Wednesday, September 11th. But by Friday, September 13th, Evans says that the two were back in court because her dad was accused of forging financial documents. She says that he was to turn himself in on forgery charges on Monday. Precious, she went to court to support her mom.
So afterwards, I waited outside for her for a little bit. But, it kind of was just taking a little minute, and I had a 12 o'clock appointment I had to go to.
She says a family friend was also there.
Her friend let the people know, like, hey, can you have someone escort her out when she comes out because we're about to leave.
Boom. Boom. And that's why, I didn't even watch this video before I watched it with y'all, and I believe everything this girl is saying. So for his ass, Mr. Dix, because you giving one. For him to come to the front and sit up there and say that Crystal never asked for one, you was very careful in your wording because you knew Crystal didn't. But that's not exactly what the girl said. She said the friend, and you knew that. Have y'all seen the pictures? Are y'all looking at the dad? It does give a piece of sus. I'm not going to hold you, but I don't know for sure. I have not seen the evidence. I know people have said that her mom, Crystal, put certain things up on her page and may have, aired him out. I have not seen that. Maybe she took that down or something. Not necessarily sure, but I don't know. But the eyebrows was like, girl, what's going on? Okay. That's sad.
But Precious says that never happened.
It fell on deaf ears.
She says that the court clerk never relayed the message. She says that her mom, who's a busy real estate entrepreneur, left on her own accord alone. She got in her car in the courthouse parking lot across the street.
I probably wasn't even home 5 minutes. My godmother called me back probably a minute later, and she's like, your mom is screaming. My dad had shot my mom.
Y'all, I really believe that if this girl would have been with her mom, I don't think the daddy would have cared. It's sad. Girl, it just... I feel like he would have shot his child too. I really do. And the way that he's been so careless with their mom and just being so honest about, I'm going to unalive you, I'm going to do this, do that. You don't care about them kids. Because if you did, you would have thought about that. You would have thought about them. Before stalking their mom or anything, you would have took your L, understood your wrongs, and you would have went on about your fucking business. And you didn't. You didn't give a damn. So if her kids was with her, they would have got hit too. Would have definitely got hit. He just seems like he's that heartless.
At the courthouse.
And he sped off in his car. Deputies, they heard the shots and chased him for a short time before he shot himself in the head.
From what I have heard from the doctor and things, that he is going to survive. He shot himself in the jaw.
Crystal Evans wasn't that fortunate. She died from her injuries.
To me, this is something that could have very much been prevented down from the judge all the way down to the sheriff department.
And that's why Evans is fighting so hard. She says law enforcement, they knew the circumstances.
My mom has called the sheriff a total of 3 times of him threatening her, threatening that he's going to kill her.
In these court documents, we found records dating back to 2022. Crystal filing 2 different protective orders against her estranged husband. Quote, Tom tried to barricade Crystal in her home to keep her from leaving. He also forged a deed to her house using her stolen notary stamp on the document. He then told her that he was going to kill her and kill himself, and that he wanted his daughter to have a home when he was gone.
We just knew how dangerous he was.
In February...
What? He want his daughter to have a home when she was gone, when he's gone. She can have a home now. Got a home now. What the hell? You do not give a damn about these children. I need him. I understand he done popped himself in the jaw. I'm so glad he didn't pop himself here. He popped himself in the jaw. Because once you heal, baby, I want all your days and the last ones to be behind bars. Behind themselves. And I slick want him to get one of the unhealthiest prisons. That's not nice. But if he got one of the unhealthiest prisons that's out here, I wouldn't even be mad. Because you was wrong for that. I can't stand when men, I don't understand that. Y'all be out here dogging these ladies out. Doing what y'all want to do. Running up their accounts. Doing this and that. And then when they don't want to be with you no more and they've outgrown the foolishness, then you want to take them? Why? Ain't nobody got to sit up here and deal with your shit. Child, that's why sometimes you do got to just move in silence, and sometimes you really got to move the hell out the state, child. You got to be prepared to be on some damn enough like Jennifer Lopez. What she did, she changed her damn name. When she moved, got a whole wig, got a whole new damn identity, child. You about got to move just like that. It's crazy out here, but everybody don't have the means. You know what I'm saying? So I do understand that.
February 2023, another order of protection filed, Crystal claiming that Tom got a key to one of her properties and let himself in. When confronted, he used a PVC and pipe cutter to, quote, cut the water, power, and Wi-Fi cords, damaging the meter box in the process. That same night, he then, quote, slid under the house where he listened to her conversations and verbally said, acting like a white expletive, that I'm gonna have to kill, end quote. It's a wish that Evans said.
This man slid up under a house to hear her conversations. How all of a sudden you got so much time to stalk your wife when you been out here running up behind other bitches? If you would have been putting all that energy into your marriage the first time, y'all wouldn't be here. And she would be here. If y'all didn't get it right before Spalding, y'all better get that shit right now, and y'all gonna have to, because guess what? Now the community's on your ass. Clowns.
he selfishly fulfilled.
My mom was such a giving, nice person. There was
That is
like
so sad.
not a mean bone in her body whatsoever. So I just want justice for my mom where the ball was dropped.
It's important to note that those first two protective orders that Crystal did file, they were later dismissed by a judge, one of which because that they didn't show up in court. But that third one that she filed last week, it was granted on Wednesday. But ever since this all happened, it has been a nightmare, especially for the Spalding County Sheriff's Department. The sheriff there, Daryl Dix, he wrote in a scathing Facebook post that Crystal, she never asked a deputy for an escort to her car. Surveillance.
I have to pause here because when he said that I looked at a comment and it got me distracted. I'm sorry. But when he said that they didn't make it to their hearing, to the two PTO or whatever, the protective order hearings, I wonder if one of those times could have been when he barricaded her in the house and she couldn't go no damn well. That's what I'm wondering. If that's why they missed it.
Video showing her just walking right out the door without asking for help. It also mentions that they do have a history of domestic violence, but it all lacked evidence. Quote, yes, in the past, we have received multiple calls to the Mallory's residence. Both would claim that the other started the fight. On occasions where witnesses were present and interviewed by deputies, they said that they didn't see anything or said it didn't happen like it was described by either Mr. or Mrs. Mallory. I cannot speak about a judge's decision or orders. No one is picking one person over the other or believing one over the other. Deputies don't have the option to arrest based on who has the most followers. That's not how it works. Do improvements need to be made to the law? Yes, they do. Maybe it wasn't a deputy or my agency that failed. Maybe it was the law itself. By the way, the deputies that allegedly refused to escort her are the same ones that removed her from the car, tried to control the bleeding, and tried to save her life. End quote. Now, I have been in contact with the Spalding County Magistrate Court to see why Crystal was not given a police escort. We're still waiting to hear back. I am told, though, that the judge that was presiding over their case is out of the office until Thursday.
I bet you is.
We'll be following up. For TSR Investigates, I'm Justin.
All right, so we just got into that story. It's very, very disappointing, but I wanted to bring you guys this because it, provides us with more details of what was happening with her case and her situation. So I'm so sorry to her. Condolences to her family, especially her children. Because I believe she has 2 grown daughters and a young son that may be in elementary school. So that's a lot going on, sad. Sad, disgusting situation. I'm so sorry that happened. Right. Who has the most followers? I don't even know why that was relevant. Right.